New developments in the deadly ambush of a police officer in Sacramento. Newly released body cam video showing the moment officers came under fire responding to a domestic call. A rookie officer killed. Authorities now revealing new details about the alleged gunman. Here's ABC's Marcy Gonzalez.
Police Department.
Sacramento police tonight calling this an ambush on officers.
If you're in here, let me know. You're not in trouble, dude.
That spray of gunfire killing rookie officer Tara O'Sullivan.
Officer down, code 3 fire.
Captured in newly released video recorded by her training officer's body camera.
This is a high-powered rifle. Get out here now.
These unnerving moments just the start of a more than 4-hour-long shootout between police and the gunman.
He had multiple weapons in multiple buildings on the property, along with numerous rounds of ammunition.
Officers called to this house Wednesday as part of a domestic violence investigation. Police saying the suspect, Adele Ramos, monitored their movements using several surveillance cameras, firing on them repeatedly, including with 2 assault rifles, before finally being taken into custody. Ramos is now charged with murder and attempted murder. He's due in court on Monday. Tom?
Marcy, thank you.
Police shooting that left a Texas woman dead inside her own home. Overnight, the officer who fired that fatal shot was arrested and charged with murder. ABC's Marcus Moore has the story.
The officer at the center of a fatal weekend shooting, identified as Aaron Dean, booked on a charge of murder overnight.
Had the officer not resigned, I would have fired him for violations of several policies, including our use of force policy, our de-escalation policy, and unprofessional conduct.
During a news conference, authorities said he is not cooperating with the investigation underway into the shooting at Tatiana Jefferson's Fort Worth, Texas home. Dean's accused of shooting and killing the 28-year-old early Saturday morning in her home. A terrifying moment captured on the officer's body cam.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
Family members said Jefferson had been playing video games with her 8-year-old nephew that morning when she was gunned down right in front of him. Police showed up at the house after a neighbor called the department's non-emergency line to report that the family's front door was open. Relatives said Jefferson left that door open to catch some of the breeze that night.
I haven't seen anybody moving around. It's not normal for them to have both of the doors open this time of night.
When officers arrived, they parked around the corner from the house. And as you can see in this video, Dean approaches the back of the home and never identifies himself as an officer before pulling the trigger.
The fact that she got shot for looking through her own window is the problem here.
No justice! No peace!
At 6 p.m., hundreds gather peacefully in downtown Dallas to protest the 2 recent fatal police shootings of black men. Some protesters even taking photos with Dallas PD, showing their solidarity. Then at 8:45, just a mile from City Hall, shots ring out. Officers scramble to secure the scene,
Shots fired.
moving protesters out of harm's way.
We got shots fired. Get out of here.
The shots grow louder as at least 2 snipers fire on police from elevated positions. Patrick Cooper filming this video inside El Centro College, where one of the snipers appears to be shooting from above.
Is somebody shooting?
This chilling video shows one of the gunmen taking aim at a police officer. He misses twice before firing the deadly shot.
We got a guy with a long rifle. We don't know where the hell he's at.
The Dallas police chief calling it an ambush against law enforcement.
We believe that these suspects were positioning themselves in a way to triangulate on these officers from 2 different perches in garages and planned to injure and kill as many law enforcement officers as they could.
Bystanders also caught in the carnage.
And right as she started to run, she caught a bullet in the back of her right calf. She immediately jumped on top of one of her sons.
Teresa Williams telling us that her sister, Shatamia Taylor, at the rally to protest peacefully with her 4 sons, was shot in the leg while trying to shield her boys. She is recovering in the hospital.
So all she keeps saying is, my prayers go out for the families of the cops that have lost their lives.
The intensive manhunt for the snipers paralyzing this city. Reports of possible bombs planted by the shooters causing panic. 3 suspects now in custody. 7 hours after the first shots fired, the last remaining gunman shot dead by police. As morning breaks here, 11 officers shot, 5 killed, including 43-year-old Officer Brent Thompson. The city's mayor calling the shooting heartbreaking.
I ask everybody to focus on one thing right now, and that is our Dallas police officers, their families, those that are deceased, those that are in the hospital, fighting for their lives. Let's all come together and support our police officers.
This morning, county offices and many businesses downtown are closed as a precaution. One of the snipers had claimed that there were bombs planted downtown, but so far police are saying that no explosives have been found. George?
Thank goodness for that. Okay, Philip, thanks very much.
There will be those who will talk about what's wrong with America, but in this case, Officers Griner and Bailey, we saw what's right with America. We saw two people risk their lives to save the lives of others. We saw courage in the face of death. And we saw examples of why all Americans should be grateful every day for law enforcement officers around this country. There could have easily been 25 deaths or more today. I think we had 25 team players and about 15 staff. But Officers Griner and Bailey prevented that, and my family and I will be forever grateful. The thin blue line held today, and law enforcement officers everywhere should be proud. And Americans everywhere should be thankful that this is still the kind of country that still produces these kinds of heroes.
With all the police-related incidents we've seen over the past couple of years and people across the country having strong feelings about the way the community policing is being carried out, it got the Now's Lauren Wilson thinking why someone would want to even sign up for the job. She sat down with a new recruit today to get his perspective.
I mean, things right now are difficult, but they're always going to be difficult. You know, everyone comes, you know, you tell everybody, oh, you're going to the police academy. Oh, why would you want to be a cop right now? Doesn't bother me. If that's a problem, then you don't need to be here.
That's how Thomas Vidal and Gowan answered my question about entering the force.
This job means something to me. I mean, it's not about the money. It's not about the job. It's if I had to pick a job that was tailor-made for me, I believe it would be a police officer.
Yes, sir! 4 months into his training, and he's moving full speed ahead.
We've gone through a lot of the book stuff, and now we're starting to get more into the enhanced stuff, more defensive tactics and firearms.
After years in the military and a long resume of career choices, the new recruit in his mid-30s knew it was time to follow his childhood dream.
I've just never been able to let go of law enforcement.
Married with 3 kids, he tells me it's his passion that carries him through, even when he's pushed to the limit.
I mean, I work 12 hours a day, every single day, and then I come here. I have a wife and 3 kids, so I don't get to see them all the time. If this is what you want to do, then this is my commitment, and I'm not letting anything get in my way.
Seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, Thomas tells me his eyes are wide open to the issues and looks forward to progress.
I would like to see, for community policing, if you can interact with the public more, every neighborhood should see that.
A mindset I'm told is growing among this new generation of recruits.
People will heal, move forward, but I do know it's going to take good people to make that change.
Before I left, Thomas had one last thing to say to recruits and officers everywhere.
There has to be an open dialogue. If you don't have an open dialogue, if you're not willing to change or even talk about issues that need to change, what good are you doing?
Now, with a great story for Friday, the sheriff's deputy who helped save the life of a little baby, and Diane Macedo is here with that.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. So Deputy Jeremy Nix was off duty on his way home in Ocala, Florida, when a car flagged him down, so he made a U-turn, pulled over, and that's when Nicole Crowell came rushing out with her 3-month-old baby who wasn't breathing. So the officer attempted CPR, but when that didn't work, he put the baby in his squad car and rushed to the hospital, getting there within seconds. We got to talk to the officer last night about what was going through his head at the time.
It was not just a work-related thing at that moment. It wasn't a duty responsibility. It was, I'm a dad. You know, this could be my child. When she handed me that baby, I turned into dad. It was a dad role.
And And those dad instincts paid off. The doctors told him had he waited for an ambulance, the baby would not have made it. But the sheriff's office also posted some adorable pictures of the two of them at the hospital. There's Officer Nix with the little baby Kingston, and Nix says they'll be buddies for a long time.
Yeah, and the baby's doing well.
The baby is doing well. Little Kingston was released from the hospital last night, so he is home this morning with his family. Mom says when he's old enough to understand, he will know Deputy Nix is a hero.
True hero.
A smart one.
Yeah, go online and see the full story. It is adorable when you see all those pictures.
The scariest moment of his career, but the one most worthwhile as well.
Yeah,
no question about it. Thank you, Diane. Hi, everyone. George.
Imagine a cop pulls you over, puts you in his squad car, then helps you land a job. That is exactly what happened to Keshawn Baldwin when Officer Roger Jummels pulled him over.
Car finna get towed. I'm finna go to jail for not driving with valid license or anything like that. More tickets, more fines. That's all I was thinking about.
I was just patrolling the area, and I had seen him driving a vehicle that had a busted outside window, and then I looked at the license plate. You could see that the sticker was expired.
Baldwin says he knew he should not have been driving that car in that condition, but it was with good reason. He was trying to get to a job interview at FedEx.
Someone came upon me, God, whatever it was, and said give him a little break, so that's what I did.
Not only did Officer Jummels not give the Illinois resident a ticket, he personally drove him to the interview. Officer Jummels is also a school resource officer, and when he realized Keshawn's plight, he said it reminded him of the struggles the kids he protects face daily. Now for an even happier ending, Keshawn got the job.
It's good to see you got a job. That's, to me, that makes me happy.
Police officer who she calls her hero, a reunion 20 years in the making.
The young woman lost contact with the officer when she moved out of state, but as Fox 4's Judy Lee reports, she came back recently to thank him in person.
Living in this neighborhood off of 27th Street is a hazy memory for Kaylin Scales. What she does remember is the Kansas City police station down the street, a 7-Eleven, and a police officer who saved her life.
To get us through all the bad situations, I would just picture him saying that he was here for us and that if we ever need him, you know, he would be right there. He would always protect us. And so those words would come to me during the worst times in my childhood life.
Scales now lives in Texas, so we caught up with her over FaceTime. She said she grew up in a home filled with drugs and violence with her mom and 2 brothers. At 9 years old, Scales met a police officer who would stop by the house daily.
He was that one person that I trusted in my life as a kid.
Scales admits she stole food for her 2 brothers from this 7-Eleven. When she didn't come running to greet the officer, he walked in the house and found her sick. He took her to the hospital where she was treated for malnutrition. All this, and she didn't know his name.
I had actually thought about her, wondered whatever happened with her when I was coming out, when I was over by the old East Patrol station.
Sergeant Jeff Colvin received an email in June about a little girl who used to live by East Patrol. Sergeant Jennifer Jones tracked him down and reunited the two in Kansas City.
Most times we go through our career not realizing if we helped and truly helped anybody out, and often, and that was the case with me where I wondered if I was even in the right career path.
Scales was finally able to say that thank you.
I just never thought this would ever happen, to find my hero.
Nearly 20 years later. Judy Lee, Fox 4 News, working for you.
And Scales said Colvin inspired her to become a police officer in Houston, Texas. In 2 months, she'll begin the application
He
process.
joined the department back in 1975. Channel 8 Eyewitness News reporter Bailey Bischoff sat down with him, and she has a story.
337, it's all yours.
In 1975, a young Steve Standley was looking for a new job. His wife said to him,
"Did you ever think about the police department?" The next day I applied.
They asked him for a 5-year commitment. He had no idea just how much he'd commit to this job.
2/3 of my life working in a place where I have felt valued and appreciated.
He served on the Northeast and Southeast teams, family crime unit, and the last 3 years as a public service officer.
The thing that I look back at,
It became about changing lives.
are the moments when people respond with a life change. I arrested her for burglary. At Christmas time the next year, I got a card from her thanking me for what I'd done, telling me that she'd gone back to college, gotten her family some counseling, and the family was stronger than ever, that she was on the dean's list at college.
And today is a good day, even though he's saying goodbye, answering that last call.
As I called code 9 for the last time.
Because he knows who's on the other side of the radio.
Dad?
His daughter Jody, a 911 dispatcher. Inspired by her dad to serve, she got to give his last call over the radio today.
As you start your retirement, I want you to know that you're leaving behind a city that's a better place because of you. A department that is smarter and more compassionate because of the lessons you've taught. And know that everyone in your family, blue and blood, is extremely proud of every life that you've touched. Know that I promise to carry on the torch, and I promise to make you proud until it's my turn for final code 9. Code 9. It's 15:30.
In Lincoln, Bailey Bischoff, Channel 8 Eyewitness News.
Well, New Hampshire welcomes 61 new full-time police officers this afternoon in Concord.
The 172nd Police Academy held its graduation ceremony at the Police Standards and Training Building today. These men and women completed a 12-week course that includes a thorough background check, physical training, and classroom work. This group started in January and will soon be on the streets protecting the people of the state. Officials say they're simply looking for the right type of person for these jobs.
Integrity is a major component, honesty of how they do things, and treating people very fair and understanding all the things that may occur out there.
The Police Academy graduates 3 different full-time classes each year.